Happy Halloween and welcome to the All-Canadian Reptile Girl. I'm Annalise and this monster here is Jub Jub, my black and white Argentine tegu. Speaking of monsters, has this ever happened to you? You are enjoying a show or a movie and there's a really cool scene with a big bad monster. And then, sometime later, you're watching a nature documentary or your favorite educational YouTubers and all of a sudden, a version of that fantastical creature that you saw on the screen is now before you in a nature or science show as a real life animal? Today, in the spirit of Halloween, we will be exploring the influence and inspiration some real-life reptiles had or do have in our favorite Hollywood creatures. Now, this is a topic that I have done a fair amount of research on, and by research I mean I watched a lot of monster movies. Watching creature features with my dad on Fortnights, not the video game, Fortnights for me and my dad, are when we turn the living room into a big blanket or pillow fort and watch monster movies and play video games all night and eat junk food. I've been doing this every couple of months since I was little. There were just some awful movies. But there are a few really great ones too. Lake Placid has always been one of my all-time favorite movies for pretty much as long as I can remember. Betty White is a legend, and fun fact, she actually has a boa constrictor named Jacob. So yeah. For any of you out there that are worried about the language in that movie being inappropriate for young kids, I will remind you all that my dad is French Canadian, and to Quebecers, English swear words don't count. There's nothing I haven't already heard.
Just hope you don't talk like that around children.
C'est moi de tabarnak, Gabriel.
I have my answer.
In any case, good or bad, there were always so many fun movies, and I could spend all day going through them all. But for today, we'll stick with a few of my favorite fictional reptile-inspired monsters. Let's start off with probably the most obvious example. Everyone knows who this guy is, right? Of course you do. This is an iconic movie monster. There have been multiple designs over the decades, and in all of them, you can see many reptilian features. Most obviously, the fact that Godzilla is primarily based on a theropod dinosaur. T-Rexes, Allosaurus, maybe even with the funky doodads on the back, a Spinosaurus. But this particular version was actually modeled after these incredible lizards that spend a huge amount of time in the ocean. That's right, the marine iguana was the inspiration for the worst version of Godzilla. If I remember right, I think in the movie it was even implied that this version of Godzilla was a very mutated marine iguana. Marine iguanas don't need to be 180 feet long to be amazing animals. When they venture into the ocean to feed on algae, they can dive to depths of almost 100 feet, and they can stay submerged underwater for over an hour. Depending on the subspecies, they can be red, brown, gray, green, yellow, or even jet black. When studying these creatures, Charles Darwin documented that someone on his crew coined the term imps of darkness when referring to the marine iguanas, and that they were so fearsome looking that early visitors to the Galapagos Islands wouldn't even eat them. I mean, what is it with us humans that we find something new and we're like, ooh, let's eat it. Let's test if this also tastes like chicken.
Let's travel the world, meet new species, eat them. I don't see a problem.
I'll allow it.
They are really cool. Maybe I should do a video all on them. You know?
Why are you asking me?
Oh, fine, whatever. What do you guys think? Do you want me to do a video on marine iguanas? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, please give that like button a little click. That really helps me out a lot. Moving on, let's look at the Basilisk from Harry Potter. Although it is meant to appear as a giant serpent, it's actually a legless lizard. Emily at Snake Discovery did a whole video on that, but basically, visible ears. Lizard-like jaw. Eyelids. That's totally a legless lizard. The venom and hyperintelligence, crazy teeth, and of course the enormous size are all completely fictional. But at its core, the basilisk is a very cool and very real legless lizard. It was once thought that legless lizards might provide insight into how snakes evolved. The loss of limbs, the lengthening of the body, then the evolution of other snake-like traits. But with more recent discoveries on ancient snakes, it appears that snakes' path to having their body plan was very different than that of the legless lizards, having evolved the snake-like skull and other adaptations long before losing their limbs. I'll say it again. Evolution is weird, huh? Next, let's look at the turtle Morla from the Never-Ending Story. Now, this is basically just a giant turtle. To me, she's reminiscent of a snapping turtle, right down to the mountain of muddy stuff on her back. Common snapping turtles up here in Canada and other cold places will hunker down deep in the mud to hibernate. And sometimes when they emerge, they do so with this big column of gloopy, stinky muck on their back, which just adds a whole other level of weirdness. Now, common snapping turtles are pretty darn cool, but when it comes to truly scary looking turtles, it's tough to beat the alligator snapping turtle. These things are huge. With their pointy scoots on their carapace and their hugely impressive head, they are awesome. And so is Morla. You can't get any closer to inspiration than by just sizing up the real thing until it's an impressive and menacing creature. But it does feel a little too easy. So, as impressive as Morla is, she will be the only exactly like a real animal just sized up to a monster that I will cover today. No anaconda, no croc from Lake Placid, no Komodo, no king cobra. Big is scary, okay? We get it. Yeah? So why don't we go the other way on the size spectrum and talk about Jurassic Park. Specifically, the spitting dinosaur that killed Newman, I mean Nedry, when his Jeep crashes. Now, Dilophosaurus was a real dinosaur that lived in what is now North America almost 200 million years ago. But they probably looked very different from what we see in Jurassic Park. For one, they were way bigger, like 20 plus feet long. There is no way that they could fit in a Jeep. See? Smaller can be scarier too. The very scary fluttery neck frill is pretty cool, but there's no actual evidence of that in the fossil record, like at all. But there is a modern lizard that has this exact feature. The frilled lizard is a 3-foot agomid from Australia that uses a bright, vibrating frill as a dramatic or startle display. When threatened, the sudden flare, where are you going? Okay, good. The sudden flare of these gigantic frills are often enough to make a predator nope the heck out of there, leaving the frilled lizard to make its escape. Another fake ability that is based in fact was the Dilophosaurus' ability to spit venom. It's possible that they had venom, but we don't know. There is no evidence at all that they had the necessary structure that would have given them the ability to spit venom. But do you know what reptile can spit venom? Cobras! Many species of cobras have the ability to spit venom up to 10 feet. And just like the Dilophosaurus in the movies, they are very good at aiming for their eyes. Neat, eh?
Not so neat for the people who get venom in their eyes.
Oh. There are other problems with the Dilophosaurus in the movie. How it held its hands was all wrong. The shape of the head, also wrong. Look, you know what? If you are a dinosaur nerd, you should go check out Your Dinosaurs Are Wrong on YouTube. It's all about the errors and how dinosaurs are portrayed in movies and TV shows or in toys versus the most recent paleontological information. How to describe it? It's strange, yet it's somehow very completely enthralling. Just go check it out. You'll see what I mean. I like it a lot. So go check it out. You'll understand. Anyway, the physical traits of the Dilophosaurus we see in Jurassic Park are nothing more than movie fiction to increase their jungle cred.
They're what?
Their jungle cred. You know, it's like street cred, but for jungles. Moving on, let's look at these fabulous flying reptiles. These are the Ikraan from Avatar. Looking at them, it's pretty easy to guess that these flyers were obviously inspired by pterosaurs, which are not dinosaurs, by the way. Pterosaurs are actually prehistoric lizards, which is very different. What is interesting about these guys is that in 2014, 5 years after the movie came out, a new species of pterodactyloid pterosaurs were discovered in China. This creature has features strikingly similar to the ones of the Ikraan in Avatar. They were so similar, in fact, that in 2020, it was formally given the name Ikraan Draco Avatar. How's that for a weird and time-twisted version of life imitating art? Okay, we're running long, so we'll end it with what might be my favorite movie monster from one of my all-time favorite movies, Alien. I love this movie. Aliens is great too. And then there were some other movies in the franchise that were definitely movies, but the original Alien is, in my opinion, the best one. There are some physical traits that the alien or Xenomorph to its friends has that I'm not going to talk about on a family-friendly channel. If you know, you know. But there are definitely some reptilian traits in the creature. The way it uses its tail, the way it moves, it's kind of slithery and reptilian. But the one feature that really gets me is this. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that animals generally only have one mouth. While totally cool, this completely unnecessary smaller mouth inside its main mouth, that's weird to say, it's completely ridiculous and could not possibly have a real world analog. Or could it? Yes, obviously it could. Could you imagine if the answer was no? What kind of ending would that be? So, full disclosure, the animal I'm talking about is not a reptile. But if Wiccans can regularly sneak in amphibians into top 5 reptile lists, I think I can sneak in my own non-reptile. I mean, it's my channel after all. And to be fair, I mean, I have always thought that this animal was very reptilian looking. Anyway, so here it is. The moray eel has 2 mouths. I can only assume that through the years they kept biting off more than they could chew, and eventually evolution just said, "You're so hungry all the time? Here, have a second mouth," or something like that. This secondary set of jaws deep in their throat is called a pharyngeal jaw. They actually evolved this from gill arches, which are just stiff structures that support gills in many fish species. This is not the first time that this has happened either. The first jawed fish that evolved hundreds of millions of years ago evolved their primary normal jaw the same way that the moray did. And this trait passed down to all their future descendants, including us. Think about that the next time you bite into a juicy apple. How cool is that? Want a moray?
A moray, when the moon hits you.
You promised you wouldn't do that.
Alright, okay, alright.
Okay. When a moray...
Go, I'll be good.
Do you need to leave?
I'll be good.
When a moray strikes and holds their prey with their powerful primary jaws, which are extremely impressive in their own right, these secondary ones shift forward and forcefully encourage its dinner into their stomach. Because one set of teeth chewing and swallowing you to bits isn't sufficient at all. It's a bit dramatic if you ask me. There you go. My favorite reptile, well, mostly reptile-inspired movie monsters. I have to say that the research I did for this video was by far the most fun. What do you think of my list? Can you think of any other movie reptilian monsters that were inspired by real-life reptiles? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and hitting that like button, and until next time, remember to nurture all nature. Bye! The worst version of Godzilla. Where are you going? What was that? You cannot just dive to the ground.
Pretty sure I can.
Leaving the frilled lizard to make its escape. I said that so confidently. No, give me a second. If you stay still, this will go so much faster. I love you. Go girl. No way they could fit in a Jeep. Why do you hate Godzilla so much? randomly throughout the video.